The rain in New York City that Tuesday night wasn't gentle. It was a relentless gray curtain, blurring the neon lights and turning the bustling streets into a slick, indifferent river. Inside the Blue Note, a jazz club clinging to existence in a side alley, Oliver Hayes poured his loneliness onto the piano keys. His music, a melancholic improvisation called Autumn Rain, filled the smoky air, mostly ignored by the handful of patrons nursing drinks. When the last note faded into the clatter of glasses, the applause was polite, scattered, and hollow. Oliver packed up, the familiar ache of invisibility settling deep in his chest as he stepped back out into the wet, uncaring city. Back in his cramped, cluttered apartment shared with his pragmatic best friend Mark, Oliver sorted through the usual pile of bills and flyers. Then, his fingers brushed against something different. A simple cream envelope, his name written in an elegant, flowing script. No return address. Just Haven Port as the postmark. Fan mail, Mark quipped, peering over. From someone who actually stayed awake? Oliver carefully opened it. Inside, a single sheet of high-quality paper held words that felt like a warm hand reaching through the cold New York gloom. Dear Mr. Hayes, I heard your composition, Autumn Rain, played faintly on the radio late one night. It caught in my chest like a forgotten sigh. There was a vulnerability in the minor key progression, a resilience in the underlying rhythm that resonated deeply. In a world often too loud, your music offers a quiet space. Thank you for that moment of unexpected solace. Sincerely, a listener from Haven Port. Oliver read it twice. A slow, genuine smile touched his lips, a rare sight. Someone heard him. Not just the noise, but the feeling underneath. Haven Port. He pictured a quiet coastal town, a world away from the roaring indifference of New York. Far from the city's roar, in the coastal town of Havenport, Maine, Eleanor Vance stood amidst the quiet sanctuary of her bookstore, whispering pages. Sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating dust motes dancing above shelves crammed with well-loved stories. The air smelled of old paper and peace. But beneath Eleanor's calm exterior, a quiet sadness lingered, a ghost of grief for her father who had left her the shop. Her kind neighbor, Mrs. Delaney, watched her gaze drift towards the gray, restless Atlantic. Penny for your thoughts, dear. Mrs. Delaney offered tea, or perhaps some Keats. Just thinking how the sea looks like crumpled pewter today, Eleanor murmured, accepting the cup. Thank you, Mrs. D. Life insists on moving forward, child, Mrs. Delaney said gently. You need something or someone new to focus on beyond these book covers. The bookstore is my focus, Eleanor replied, but her eyes betrayed her, drifting back to the vast, lonely sea. Later, at her desk, she pulled out another sheet of cream paper, her fountain pen hovering before she began to write. Driven by the stranger's unexpected kindness, Oliver wrote back during his break at the music store where he worked. He described the grayness of his city, the feeling of emptiness within the crowd. He signed it simply, Oliver Hayes. When Eleanor received his reply, a thrill went through her. Oliver Hayes. She wrote back immediately, sharing the sounds of Havenport, the crash of waves, the rustle of turning pages. "May I call you Oliver?" she asked. Mr. Hayes feels too formal for someone whose music already feels like a conversation. Thus began a silent dance across miles. Elegant script met passionate handwriting on cream paper and notebook pages. Letters flew between New York and Maine, carrying pieces of their souls. Eleanor described organizing author readings, the smell of old paper, the challenge of balancing the books, watching storms rage over the ocean. "The waves looked like angry fists," she wrote once. But here inside, with T and Emily Dickinson, it felt safe. Contained chaos. Oliver shared his frustrations. A crushing rejection for a film score, the soul-deadening prospect of arranging commercial jingles, the unexpected beauty of finding a tiny community garden defiantly blooming between skyscrapers. "This old lady waters her tomatoes like they're her children," he wrote. "There's defiance in that, don't you think? Life pushing through concrete." Then came the phone calls. Hesitant at first, filled with the awkward silence of strangers suddenly intimate. His voice, deep and warm, carried the distant roar of the city. Her voice, soft and clear, was accompanied by the crackle of her fireplace or the sigh of the sea wind through her open window. They talked about everything and nothing. A stalled subway in a pitch-black tunnel. You could hear everyone breathing. "Just resignation," he said. "Cancelled ferries due to fog. Stranded with books and scones isn't hardship," she laughed. Slowly, carefully, they peeled back layers. Eleanor confessed her grief over her father, how she sometimes talked to him among the bookstore stacks. Oliver revealed his deepest fear, that his music was insignificant, that he'd never truly connect, that past failures defined him. "Sometimes I play and feel completely invisible," he admitted, his voice raw. "Your letter. It was the first time I felt seen in years. Even though you haven't seen me." Her response was a soft breath down the line, then words that settled deep into his heart. "Seeing isn't always with the eyes, Oliver. I see you in every note you describe, every frustration, every flicker of hope you share." Their world wasn't without storms. Oliver's on-again, off-again girlfriend, Chloe, found one of Eleanor's letters. Suspicion flared. "Who is this Eleanor?" she demanded. "All these letters, hours on the phone. It's weird, Oliver. Unhealthy. Are you sure she's even real?" When Oliver defended the connection as different, deeper, Chloe issued an ultimatum. With a heart heavy with guilt but certain of his truth, Oliver chose the unseen, unheard-of bond with Eleanor. Chloe left, and Mark worried openly about his friend's weird pen pal thing. Meanwhile, Eleanor faced her own tempest. A brutal nor'easter slammed into Havenport. Whispering pages flooded. Shelves were ruined. Precious books turned to pulp. Standing amidst the wreckage, mud soaking her shoes, Eleanor called Oliver, her voice trembling, trying to be brave but breaking. "It's ruined, Oliver. The books, the shelves, Papa's dream. It's all soaked, muddy." Hearing her despair, 500 miles away, Oliver felt utterly helpless. But his voice, when he spoke, was firm, infused with a conviction that cut through her panic. "Eleanor, listen to me. Look at what you built. Not just the store, but this, us. This connection across all this distance and noise. That's real. That's stronger than any storm. You are whispering pages. It's heart, and hearts can rebuild. I believe in you. Completely. Her quiet sobs subsided. His words were her anchor. Thank you, she whispered, the sound thick with tears. Just hearing your voice. In a quiet act of faith, moved by a rough demo he'd sent of a piece called Havenport Skies, Eleanor anonymously sent Oliver money, enough to buy him a few months to focus solely on his music. The note simply read, "Invest in the symphony only you can write." A believer. Oliver was stunned, humbled, and his heart swelled with an urgent need to bridge the distance. The letters and calls became lifelines. They shared moonlit moments over the phone. "Describe the moon tonight, Oliver," she'd ask. "It's a shard of white porcelain, sharp and cold," he'd say, looking at the city-bleached sky. "Nothing like yours. Tonight it's full," she'd murmur. "A luminous pearl on black velvet. The path on the water is like liquid silver." Comfortable silences stretched between them, filled only by the sound of their breathing across the miles. One night, Oliver played a few hesitant, beautiful chords down the line. "Listen, it's the opening for a piece I'm calling Whispering Pages. It's yours." Eleanor was silent. When she spoke, her voice was thick with unshed tears. "It's perfect, Oliver. Like sunlight through dusty windows." Weeks later, the bookstore was slowly healing, propped up by community support and Eleanor's fierce determination. But Oliver knew he couldn't stay away any longer. He needed to stand beside her, to see the sea she described, to finally meet the woman whose soul had become his compass. Subscribe for dreamy love stories that melt your heart. Turn on notifications so you never miss a romantic chapter. Comment below what's your favorite kind of love story, because every heart deserves a sleepy, sweet escape. "You're just gonna hop on a bus to Maine?" Mark asked, incredulous, watching Oliver pack a small bag. "Based on letters and phone calls? What if it's awkward? What if she's different?" "It's not about building her up," Oliver said firmly, his eyes alight with a certainty Mark couldn't understand. "It's about knowing her. Her courage, her sadness, her resilience. I know her soul. I need to be there, to help, to finally stand beside her." Ignoring Mark's warnings about moose and awkwardness, Oliver boarded the Greyhound bus bound for Maine. He clutched a carefully wrapped package, the completed sheet music for Whispering Pages. His heart pounded with nervous joy as the city skyline shrank behind him. He texted Eleanor, almost there. Just past Kennebunk. Can't wait to finally see the sea. And you. Eleanor read his text, her heart fluttering like a trapped bird. She paced the Havenport bus stop, Mrs. Delaney a steady presence beside her. The bus was late, then very late. Dread coiled, cold and tight, in her stomach. Her calls to Oliver went straight to voicemail. Finally, a call to the bus company confirmed her worst fear. A serious accident near Portsmouth. Bus 227. Injuries reported. Panic seized her. Portsmouth General, she gasped to Mrs. Delaney, her face white as chalk. I have to go. Now. The drive was a blur of anxiety. The hospital was a nightmare of bright lights, antiseptic smells, and frantic energy. Eleanor rushed to the reception desk, trembling. Oliver Hayes, bus 227. Please, is he here? Is he all right? The nurse checked. Yes. Trauma Bay 3. Stable but unconscious. Head injury. Possible concussion. Fractured collarbone. Are you family? Yes, Eleanor said without hesitation, the word feeling utterly true. I'm his fiancée. Following directions down sterile corridors, Eleanor stopped in the doorway of the dimly lit room. Machines beeped softly. Oliver lay still in the bed, bandages wrapped around his head, his left arm in a sling. Bruises bloomed across his pale face, and force snaked into his arm. Seeing him so vulnerable, so broken, after knowing only the strength and warmth in his voice, was a physical blow. Tears streamed silently down her face. Mrs. Delaney gave her a gentle nudge. Eleanor approached slowly, as if walking on glass. She stood beside the bed, looking down at the face she had imagined 1,000 times. The curve of his jaw, the shape of his lips, now real and marked by pain. She reached out, her hand hovering just above his bandaged head, not daring to touch. Oliver! Her voice was a trembling whisper, barely audible. It's me, Eleanor. I'm here. She pulled a chair close and sat down. She didn't take his hand, respecting the wires and his fragility. She simply sat, her eyes tracing every detail of his face, absorbing the reality of the man whose soul she knew so intimately, the man who had crossed half the country to reach her. The doctors say you'll be all right, she began softly, her voice gaining strength, falling into the familiar rhythm of their conversations. A bit banged up, like whispering pages after the storm. But the foundations are strong. You have to wake up, Oliver. You have to see the sea. It's calmer now, waiting for you. She leaned a little closer, her voice dropping to a hushed, intimate tone. And I need to see your eyes. I need to know if they hold the same light I hear in your voice when you talk about music, or the quiet depth I feel in your words when you're sad. She took a shaky breath. You were coming to me. Through all that distance. You were almost here. And you got hurt. I'm so sorry. Her voice cracked. But I'm here now. And I'm not leaving. I'll be right here when you open your eyes. Hours passed. Eleanor kept vigil, whispering fragments of their letters, describing the bookstore's progress, reciting lines of poetry he loved. Her presence was a constant, quiet hum of love and reassurance against the sterile hospital sounds. Dawn painted the sky pale gold outside the window. Exhausted, Eleanor rested her head near the edge of the bed, her eyes closing for just a moment. Then, a movement, a faint groan. Oliver's fingers twitched. His eyelids fluttered. Eleanor? His voice was hoarse, weak, struggling against the pain and confusion. Eleanor snapped awake instantly, leaning closer. Tears welled again, but now they were tears of pure, overwhelming relief. "Oliver, I'm here. Right here. Don't try to move." He blinked slowly, his eyes unfocused, swimming as they fought against the light and the fog. He winced. "Hurts. Head. Arm. Where?" "Sure, it's okay," she soothed, her voice thick with emotion. "You're in the hospital. There was an accident. But you're safe now. You're going to be all right." His gaze finally steadied, locking onto hers. Time seemed to stop. He saw her face for the very first time. The hazel eyes filled with worry and fierce tenderness, the lines etched by the long, fearful night, the quiet strength and kindness he knew so well. She saw his deep brown eyes, clouded with pain but clearing, filled with dawning recognition and a profound, almost awestruck relief that mirrored her own. There was no shock, no hesitation, only a deep, resonant knowing. The unseen soulmate was now flesh and blood, and it was perfect. "Eleanor," he whispered, his voice filled with wonder. "You're real. You're exactly how I heard you." A tear escaped Eleanor's eye, tracing a warm path down her cheek. She didn't wipe it away. A slow, incredibly tender smile touched Oliver's bruised lips. His uninjured hand shifted slightly on the blanket. "And you," Eleanor whispered back, her smile breaking through the tears, her voice trembling with the sheer magnitude of the moment. "Oliver Hayes, are exactly how your music sounds. Strong, beautiful, a little bruised right now." She gently, slowly, placed her hand over his on the blanket, not grasping, just resting hers lightly on top. It was their first physical touch. Simple, profound, the invisible thread, woven from shared loneliness, heartfelt words, and late-night confessions, finally anchored in the gentlest pressure of skin against skin. His fingers curled weakly, seeking hers beneath the touch. "I found you," he whispered, his eyes never leaving hers, filled with a love forged in silence. "Through all of it, I finally found you." Eleanor squeezed his hand gently, the connection solid and real. "You were never lost to me, Oliver," she whispered back, her voice a soft caress. "I always knew your heart." They stayed like that, silent now, simply looking at each other, absorbing the miracle of presence. The rising sun filled the room with a golden glow, illuminating their joined hands resting on the white hospital blanket. The steady beep of the heart monitor was the only sound, a quiet counterpoint to the symphony of understanding finally complete. Outside, the world carried on. But for Oliver and Eleanor, after a journey measured in ink, voices, and miles of unseen connection, their world had finally, beautifully, come into view. They were home. Subscribe for dreamy love stories that melt your heart. Turn on notifications so you never miss a romantic chapter. Comment below what's your favorite kind of love story, because every heart deserves a sleepy, sweet escape.